wasted a half a year in the campaign. And so where she, again, matter of fact,
I feel more comfortable talking about some of my trauma because you were so brave to talk about what you went through. And I'm like, y'all don't even know. Like, I barely scratched the surface. Like,
right.
this was just like, you know.
It's a third degree from the DYD crew. We got to come through, win that Dodger blue. Let's go Dodgers, let's do it for the city. Right now we walking through when we ain't acting hostility. We just come through and knock out the committee. If you don't know, you better get with me. Get with the program. No man, you don't really know, but third is the slogan. Yes, we taking over. You better throw your hands up if you really can't stand us. You better stand up for whatever you believe in. Right now, we don't really mess with them heathens. We'll leave you grieving on the cement. Like I said, right now, third degree flow is decent. In recent news, those that talk this get abused, and those that really can't walk in my shoes. And I mean a mile, they come smiling in your face. But right now, yes, you can be replaced or get the ish now. I mean to get the ish. And if you don't know, yes, really, then I'm the ish. I'm trying not to curse, but what makes it worse? I'm looking at heathens snatching up the purse. Up in any town you really go to. Right now, I came through right now just to show you. I'm freestyling and I'm wilding out. I'm on top of the head, so we go knocking suckers out. I really doubt you want to swing that way. Like I said, Quest stand on business and he don't play. Jess is in her flannel. Yes, it was Western Day. We about to show you right now. Yes, we do it our way. Take the highway. Better call Mayday. Oh, we about to clock a big payday. But those that choose the one that try to misuse or spew bad views on the crew, you can go and bow down and just kiss my shoe. Kinda like showing up, but right now you really know tough. I hear the beat now, it's about to go down. Right now you can't really mess with Third Crown. I run this down, you about to get knocked out. Let's go ahead and start it, so you about to pop out. What's good, what's good, what's good? What's good, how you doing, people? Welcome back to Drop Your 3 Cent. You get it live, raw, and uncut. Sometimes, I blemish. I try not to, curse. I try not to say certain words. I just kind of just go with the flow. But I'm gonna be right honest with you. I'm quite tired right now.
Hey, am I the baddest?
Show enough. Am I the meanest?
Hey. Bow down and kiss the shoes. Kiss my Converse. Sucker.
What's up, Mom Tucker? How you doing?
What up, my dudes?
Uh-oh. She was hyping that out there in the crowd, in the comments. She was hyping it. Because we don't play. Hey.
That part.
Yeah, put her on the track, man. Put her on the track.
Hey, man, she might go ahead and hit a bridge for you or something. You know what I mean?
Look like she got bars, man. I'm gonna get your moms and the queens on the song. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, go ahead, man. They got it. I'm just their manager. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'll make sure we get our royalties right. You know what I'm saying? Our writing credits, and you know what I mean? Make sure we get all that money right.
I'm trying to get him out of retirement, man.
Hey, you and me both, brother. That's the goal. When I wake up, figure out how to make $1 million today.
That's what I'm trying to get you out of retirement. So for those that don't know, the very, very first song that I actually like wrote to actually perform, I needed somebody to sing on the hook. And mind you, we used to freestyle in Mr. Bridgewater's choir room. So, you know, I was looking for somebody, and Quez, forever being, as you can see right now, he's here on this show. He said, I'll do it. And I'm pretty sure he ain't never really performed no solo, no rap song before ever, but he had my back and he went on there and he did it. He was nervous as hell, but it still sounded fresh, man.
Hey, well, you know.
Keeping on the low. Remember that?
Hey, man. Hey, that's a super throwback right there.
Yeah, man. He came through on his Nate Dogg with, you know.
Hey, you know, we might have to bring that back one time for the one time, man.
Yeah, man. It's on the tape somewhere. I know it's on the tape. What's up, how you doing? Hey, do me a favor. Alexandria, what's good with you? What's good? Make sure that you guys share this, please. This is gonna be a good one, a good, honest conversation. If you guys want to come on, I have the link. Like I said, this is a safe place.
Facts.
Scenario says 40-year anniversary of The Last Dragon, and they're bringing it back into the theaters too.
And I'm gonna be right there to see it again.
Man, me too. Hey, y'all, make sure you guys are hitting the share button. Like I said, I'm about to post the link to come on. If you want to be a guest, it's gonna be it's actually right now in the descriptions. So if you just log out, come back in, it'll be right there. But it'll be right there in the comments too. We're talking about religious trauma today. White people, stray away from the church. The good, the bad, and the ugly of the church. And who better to actually talk about it than, Pastor Braxton to help navigate through the waters. So he'll be on like around the 7 o'clock hour. Right now, I know there's some people probably not really tuned in, or they're probably flicking back and forth while they're watching the Dodgers, because we're playing in the World Series right now. It's looking like it's Kendrick versus Drake part 2 all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that part. That part there. You know what I'm saying? That I've been hearing that all day.
Yeah, man.
Hey, but it should be a good World Series, man.
And we all know how the outcome of that goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember you see this guy named Kendrick Lamar Duckworth when he was on Demon Time. You know what I'm saying? If it's the same scenario, shout out to the scenario, then hey, it's about to get ugly up in here. So
yes,
the only way, if we lose, that's the only way Drake's gonna redeem himself, kinda.
Nah, that don't count for him.
He's gonna pump it up, right?
Don't nobody give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell shut up and rap. You know what I'm saying? Shut up and rap. Get off where you're mad at.
Man.
But yo.
All right, y'all. So, we about to go ahead and get into it real quick for the real quick. You know what I'm saying? We got some ratchetness for you. You know what I'm saying? Man, there was something so ratchet. I'm mad I missed it, but I'll just have to put it in next week's Ratchet News. You know what I'm saying, man? It was kind of crazy, kind of wild. But, on with the show.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy 30 Green. We're back with more Ratchet News. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to speak on it. So, let's go.
We're kicking off Ratchet News. Steve Bannon claims Trump will be reelected to a third term in 2028. Sounds like a setup is right around the corner, right? Sounds like they're itching to do something. Maybe make that happen. But I hope not, because I'm tired of this ish already, and it hadn't even really been like a full year. You know what I mean? But speaking of which, Candace Owens changes her tune after Charlie Kirk's death, unaliving, and says she lost faith in politics and Trump. Whatever. Moving on. Scientists say that winter lovemaking may boost immunity and help prevent sicknesses. So, hey, let's keep everybody healthy this winter, right? But do it safely and responsibly. All right, moving on. It's being reported that Prop 50 will likely pass. Governor's race tightens. All right, moving on. Michael B. Jordan in early talks to star in Miami Vice movie at Universal. Hey, man. A shout out to Philip Michael Thomas. He used to live right there in San Bernardino, right next door to my grandma. So, all right, let's get it. Moving on. New Edition announces a new tour with Boyz II Men and Toni Braxton. I think I might have to go check this one out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to decide between either Las Vegas or Los Angeles. But, hey, I will be there. Moving on.
Shout out to my IE people, but they're saying majority of the IE residents describe themselves as struggling. Believable, because I think some people are paying like damn near $3,000 for a room shack. You know what I'm saying? So we need to do something. So whoever's running for governor needs to make this right. All right, moving on. Shout out to Edie of the Outlaws for having the Outlaw Show. He did a live podcast, and he interviewed Jeff Pearlman, who is the author of the book Only God Can Judge Me. And we're going to try to get him onto the show. Stay tuned. Moving on. Xbox President Sarah Bond teases the brand's new next console. So let's see. I can't wait to see what she knows. I didn't even know she was black, so shout out to her. Moving on. It's been reported that former Texas star basketball player could get the unaliving penalty after being caught with THC gummies in Indonesia. That don't even sound right. Let's fight to get this man free. Moving on. Netflix announces a new documentary on Eddie Murphy, dropping November 12th. I can't wait to see it. I've seen him before. Definitely a legend. Can't wait to see this. Moving on. Shout out to Chris Brown. It's been revealed that he's been owning his master since he was 29, one of the youngest to ever do it. He's always been an innovator, really creative, so he gets nothing but love on this show. All right, moving on. R. Kelly has been named number 9 best R&B singer of all time by Billboard staff. As long as he's in your top 10, I can't argue that. You know what I'm saying? So always give that man his props in spite of what he's done. You know what I mean? Moving on. Diddy reportedly had a knife put to his neck while in prison. Hey, we're praying for his safety. You know, if this is true. You know what I'm saying? But it seemed like it was just a circus to try to get him out. But moving on. In a recent interview with Rolling Stone, Janelle Monáe said that she time traveled to the 1970s to attend a David Bowie concert and returned to the 2000s inspired by the experience. Ooh, I wonder what type of acid trip that she was on. You know what I'm saying? If she can really time travel, then hey, we need to really get to working on stuff, because I'd love to go back in time for a few things. But hey, this is me. Moving on. It's being reported that Iraq passes law lowering the legal age of marriage for girls from 18 to 9, causing an outrage. Yeah, you essentially marrying babies. It's kind of sick. You know what I mean? But if this is true. But moving on. T-Mobile employee was arrested after cash apping herself $400 from a customer's phone. Just pathetic, right? Moving on. Well, Kevin McCall's been making his rounds, you know, saying Chris Brown hasn't paid him, giving him any money, crying about this, getting into Mario, Tyrese. But Chris Brown clapped back, and he pretty much said, remember this, you can't walk across a burnt bridge. And you know what's funnier than a troll? A broke one. Preach. Moving on. Adrian Broner wilds out. He's basically, you know, he took a toxic test revealing a roster of famous names he slept with, like Carly Rae, Ruby Rose, and more. Why do we need to know that? We already knew that. Yeah, you know, Carly Rae has high mileage in her vajayjay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can pretty much walk through like the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? Well, you want to brag? It's just really, really crazy. Moving on. Cat Williams responds to Donald Trump saying, "Sir, you are the president of Puerto Rico." Because after when Trump was allegedly saying that he wanted to talk to the president of Puerto Rico, and this is Cat Williams saying, "You are the president." Why did we elect this dude? Why did y'all elect this dude? First off, moving on. Free reveals that Aaliyah invited her to the Rock the Vote video shoot, but scheduling changes in another event kept her from going. Man, I know this is tragic, and she probably lives with survivor's remorse, man. But R.I.P. to Aaliyah and salute to Free. Moving on. Finesse 2 times allegedly arrested on multiple charges. Man, prayers out to him. Moving on. Nicki Minaj snaps on Gucci Mane's wife, Keisha Kior. Nicki claps after Keisha says rappers don't give Gucci his credit. Why is she tripping? Someone take her phone away, man. Seriously, right? Moving on. It's been reported that food stamp benefits could be depleted by November, and that's like barely like next week, man. What y'all gonna do? This is what happens when you vote for a tyrant. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. Or when you don't vote, essentially. Moving on. Man has been peeing almost daily on the grave of ex-wife, divorced 48 years ago, while his current wife waits in the car. Talking about petty. I thought I was petty. I ain't got nothing on this dude. Moving on. Brandy made an official about leaving the tour. I think, you know, she was saying something was going on. She was feeling sick. But, hey, shout out to her. I want to see that tour succeed. Moving on. Shout out to Kamala Harris, who had celebrated her 61-year-old birthday, you know, so shout out to her, you know what I mean? Moving on. Bet y'all wish I would have voted for her, right? EBT folks, was good. Moving on. Man who unalived a random Ohio deputy officer after police unalived his son the day before has been ruled mentally ill and ineligible for the unaliving penalty. So shout out to him. Moving on. Young Miami calls out Tyler for jacking her song. This girl really ran off with my song. We didn't do something about it. Moving on. Y'all really out here protesting? Like, what is it really gonna do? You know, y'all should have protested at them polls. Moving on. Last but not least, it's the 2025 series matchup, Dodgers versus the Blue Jays. Essentially, this is what it really, for us folks that are really out here in the land, this is what it is. It's essentially looking just like this. We remember what happened with the last Toronto guy tried to do something. So if it's the same outcome, then let's go Dodgers. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all I got. That's all I have for you. Let's go Dodgers. Shout out to Kendrick. Let's go. Anyway, I'm your boy Third Degree, and that's been your Ratchet News. Enjoy the show.
Yes, sir. Let's go Dodgers.
Let's go Dodgers. After where they at for City.
What is
Yo.
wrong? What's up, my Hebrew brother?
Hold on. Someone say what's up to you, Third. What's that?
Okay. Wait, yo. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? You look so
Good.
good.
I'm still shocked at how big you are, but
I'm a junior. I'm a junior now.
I know. But the first time I ever seen you, you were like this. Now you're like this, playing baseball, doing all types of stuff, and
Yeah.
you just made me feel really old. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of classes right now. I'm trying to get prepared for MSJC in college.
Okay, I see you. Do your thing. We'll be praying for you and cheering you
Thank
on. Okay.
Hey,
Thank
definitely
you.
rooting for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You didn't tell him that's your favorite Hebrew rapper?
Oh my god. I do be making him play the music though.
Yeah.
You're making me bump your stuff. She about to use it for a walkout track.
Oh, which one?
I believe it was on site.
Oh, okay.
So-
Nice.
It's probably because, like, you know, softball games, they can't be cussing like that all the time. But then we heard someone come out to Real Motherfucking G's, and we're like, yo, how come we can't play
Wait,
shit?
the beautiful thing about on site, the one that's available on streaming is it's actually clean, so you're good with that one.
There you go.
And it's still
Yeah.
nice. Well,
I think
that's love,
they
man.
wanted the curse words, man. You know what I'm saying? I think they wanted
Yeah.
Big Rob
Yeah.
in the building.
Get a chance to show you guys again. Hey,
Hey,
what's
man,
going on?
It's been a couple weeks, man.
And no one cares about them Dodgers. I don't know why he talking about Ruby.
Oh, my
about them
goodness.
Dodgers, bro.
Who you a Padres fan?
No, Red Sox.
Oh, okay. That's even worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I got a question. How did you San Diego, but Boston everything?
Oh yeah, my father's side all massholes. So yeah, I was born into it. That's how
Okay.
that happened.
Yeah, that's
Well,
like
This is how we're gonna do this. Since I'm on my Pac stuff, funk the Celtics, funk the Red Sox, and funk the Patriots. And if you want to be down with any of those Boston teams, then funk Gino XL.
I'm saying, dude, he doesn't believe in Santa Claus, but still believes in the Raiders. Wow.
Damn. Woo! Hey, that was a shot.
Yeah,
Hey, but
That
that
was a
favorite
shot.
team beat y'all though first game. So
dude,
I you got your vest on, Third.
I will admit, Third, I will admit, I was eating crow. I was like, dude, Drake May is not the fucking guy. We wasted a draft pick on him.
Right.
And all of a sudden he's looking great. I'm like, oh,
he is. While
what
Gino
happened
is
week
looking,
one? Like, what
wait,
happened?
hold up, man. Mario, every time that you take 2 steps forward to becoming like my favorite dude, you take like 5 steps backwards. How the hell you a Celtics fan? And you from out here?
It is.
Do you like green or something? Like, did you eat Lucky
man.
Charms as a kid?
I mean, I'll be honest. Dude,
clovers in your front yard.
Hey, and by the way, Lucky Charms is the worst cereal ever. You know what I'm saying?
It is not.
Man, the marshmallows taste like
You
cardboard.
eat cold chicken. You do not know about cereal. Bro.
Cold chicken is better than styrofoam marshmallows.
We're not doing this, dude.
You ain't never lied, man. You ain't never lied.
Better than styrofoam marshmallows and
Oh my
and
God.
Cheerios in different squares.
Bagging on my Lucky Charms, man. What?
Hey, Lucky Charms are horrible.
And
What did leprechauns do to you, man? First
Yeah.
off, they represent. Alexander, if you of all people should know, first off, because they're
Jess, you gonna let him talk about you like that, Jess? You know what I'm saying?
wow.
Don't let him do his thing.
First off, Jess may be miniature, right? but she is a Lakers fan. She was born and bred a Lakers fan.
Is
So-
she? She wearing Celtic
Yeah.
colors right now.
No, these are not Celtic colors.
Blue and yellow.
Oh, it looked black and green on
No,
here.
no.
I'm sorry, I got my Geno Smith going on. My bad.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one,
My
man.
bad.
Hey, but Brady's with the Raiders, so I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. But Alexandria. So leprechauns represent green. It's the same little mascot as Boston. So shout out to my Aunt Paula. I was born and bred a Laker fan since birth. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, Quay's right. Lucky Charms is like the cheapest cereal. It's nasty. You know what I mean? Yeah. You guys been chasing the pot of gold and staying really found it. You know what I mean? So
Freeze-dried marshmallows is like the worst thing ever.
It's not just Lucky Charms that has that. But
Well, Lucky Charms is the mascot for freeze-dried marshmallows that are
hey
magic.
man, shout out to Crunch Berries, Fruity Pebbles, Apple Jacks, Cookie
Hey.
Crisp.
he's
I'm a
cold
Cinnamon
chicken.
Toast
I'm
Crunch
just
fan
saying.
on show. You know what I mean?
He's cold
I like
chicken.
some good cinnamon toast crunch, man. That's my joint right
That
there.
used to be the jam back in the day too. Alexander, Lucky Charms are not cheap, but definitely disgusting.
Yeah, they're very.
Yeah, they're not cheap. That's why I be trying to figure out why they be charging people that much for that nasty shit. You know what I'm saying?
Alexander said,
I,
"Fruity
You don't
Pebbles."
like
are
Fruity
absolutely
Pebbles?
not-
I mash on Fruity Pebbles, bro. I just
Yeah,
mash
Yeah,
on
yeah. Alexander didn't have no childhood.
That's what I'm
You know
saying. She must have
She was out
ate
working
kick.
in the field or something. You know what I'm saying?
No, she must have ate kicks.
All right.
With the sugar water, or no? Remember the corn flakes? It wasn't Frosted Flakes, which was dope too. But she ate the corn flakes where you had to put
Man.
the sugar in the water.
You gotta put
know,
the sugar.
With that big ass rooster on the box,
the big ass.
let
the
you
big
know
old
that
rooster.
it was cotton picking time. You know what
Did
I'm
you
saying?
did you say you had to put sugar on the water? You meant milk.
Yeah.
right?
Hey,
Sure.
hey,
You meant milk.
no sugar milk. My fault. Sugar milk.
I'm like,
That's say sugar water.
Jazz, did we
Fuck.
just say that like the last couple
I taste the
podcasts?
rainbow over there. No, that's the reason why we don't eat Lucky Charms, Alexandria.
No, put water in your cereal.
All right, I give you Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? I give you that. That's
Frosted
decent.
Flakes was true. Yeah.
Yeah, I give you that.
Still put sugar in that too, though. Hey, you guys see anything in the Ratchet News?
Hey man, I saw that Nicki Minaj is just a natural born hater. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm telling you, what's wrong with her? She
There's
got
something
hate on
wrong.
everybody.
She's
She's
making that
wilding out,
Sagittarius
dude.
is
She
bad.
wilding out.
Man, drugs are bad, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. You need to relax. She need to make an album that somebody want to listen to. That's what she need to do.
Which I'm
Somebody
surprised you
said-
didn't put in on the Ratchet News is what we talked about when we said Diddy might get pardoned. That looking like it's gonna happen.
I mean, shit,
Where
it's
you see that?
2025, man.
Dude, that was TMZ reported that. That was actually this week. I was like,
No, okay, I saw that, but then the White House actually came back and said no, it's not happening. But of course, it's Donald Trump, so he's not the most Donald Trump. He's not the
Man,
most,
put it on your bingo card, man. You might win.
yeah, no, seriously, when I saw that, I thought you guys, I was like, we called that shit. I was like, dude, that was happening. So-
Trump speaking to the president of Puerto Rico had me in that right. He wants to speak to the president of Puerto Rico.
I'm telling you, look in the mirror, sir. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. What's even more ridiculous is that you got 40, 50, and 60-year-old people talking about, yeah, send them back to Puerto Rico. Like, you know that's part of the United States, right? Like,
The other crazy thing was the third term that you put out.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of story going into that about he actually might push that to happen to where he delays the election to where he stays in the office.
Yeah. Someone's breaking it down, saying that he's going to try to rig it, going to create some type of. So here's the sad part. This is allegedly. So with the whole thing with the EBTs or whatever, again, so many people are dependent on this, and this is it's all across the board. You know what I'm saying? What will happen if you take away a hungry person's food source? It's going to combust, right? You know what I'm saying? Times are going to get desperate. You're going to see a high spike in crime. You might even see looting. You might even see, all types of stuff. You get what I'm saying? So if you create a civil unrest or even like a civil war, you know what I'm saying? But again, like the way my friend was trying to break it down to me earlier, I said, but this is only his first term. No, not first term, his first year. We still got 3 more years to go. So he's here for 3 more years. So I get what they were trying to say, but it wouldn't happen right now. But what he's getting ready to do is definitely create some type of civil unrest, but it wouldn't be unbeknownst, you know, or out of character for him to start something so he could be a third term. But at the same time, he controls the Supreme Court. So who knows what he's going to do, you know?
I think it's he's building it up to get to that point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I believe right now, like nobody with the government shutdown, I don't think anyone's getting unemployment or EBT right now.
Yeah, November is going to be hard.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know, but I know the largest portions of people that receive them voted for Trump.
Yeah, and we're going into the holiday seasons too. What?
That's very
that's
true.
what I do know.
Very true. Watch the economy crash.
Yeah, you MAGA supporters.
This is the time where people be spending a lot of money. Christmas gifts, Thanksgiving, holiday travel, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? For those that don't really got it, they put that money right back into the economy. So Alexander says he's trying to do everything but in the government shutdown. So him pardoning Diddy would not surprise me.
Going back to what Quest just said, he said a lot of people who are on unemployment voted for him.
That's true.
Isn't that crazy though? Like you're too broke to be a Republican. Like, what?
Food stamps as well. Like look up. I want people, when y'all get time, look up the largest county that receives food stamps. It's an all Republican city. It's like 96% Caucasian, and they have a 90. They're like in the high 80s and 90 of people receiving public assistance in that county.
Right.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Hey, so you know it's what my great brother Malcolm X say. It seems like those chickens are on the way home to roost. You know what I mean?
That's wild. I mean, it really is. It's like I can understand someone's politics if they're talking about specific policies and this is why, you know, not that much. But when you're over there and you're relying on assistance and everything else, dude, the Republican Party's not for you. It is not. No way in hell, not for you at all. Like that makes no sense.
But you know, people chose white supremacy over actual politics, man. So
hey, man, hey, you know, I heard the Dodgers playing. So hey, yeah.
What else?
So
is in there?
Before we segue, hold. My heart, I'm not making fun or ha or keying in nobody's face. You know what I'm saying? So to those that are affected by this, my heart definitely goes out to you. I empathize and sympathize to the ones who actually voted for this cat. The Dodgers are playing. So, okay, what were you saying, Quest?
Oh, nah, I'm just, you know, that, and I was kind of following that Chris Brown thing, man. That I remember they had a spat like a few years ago. Him and what's buddy name? I seen him on the podcast crying with his EBT card.
Kevin McCall.
Oh, yeah, Kevin McCall. Talk about, man, I got more EBT. He threw it on the ground. It was crying and all kind of shit. I said, hey,
wait,
man.
First off, hold up. Scenario, I see your comment. Everybody gonna have to come together like the Pilgrims and the Natives for Thanksgiving. No, if you know history, it started off good.
Hey,
it started off good, you know, it just didn't end well. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, let's just put it like this: privilege took over even back then. You know, like, hey, this is mine. I'm gonna take. I'm a SA. I'm a pillage. I'm a unalive folks and take and call it mine. You know, we're essentially sitting on stolen land. But again, that's a history lesson for another day. You know.
Hey, my house will be open, but if you come trying to pillage and all that other stuff, man, we got hot ones for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got a
All
plate
right,
to
y'all.
go.
Make sure you guys are hitting the like and the share button. Make sure you share. Shout out to the YouTube people if you're out there. Make sure you hitting the like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. You're on Facebook. Make sure you hit the like, share button. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting, watching the rebroadcast. Numbers have been great. Also, too, me and Jess are really, really tired. Because we went out to Calabasas last night, and shout out to Edie of the Outlaws. He had a live taping of his actual podcast called The Outlaws Show, and we definitely went and we participated in that. It was pretty cool. Right now, there's this dude named Jeff Pearlman who put out a book called "Only God Can Judge Me: The Many Lives of Tupac Shakur." And so Edie actually interviewed him, and it was really, really, really interesting because here goes this guy who's never met Tupac. He's a white guy from New York. He's a sports writer. Matter of fact, he wrote the book Showtime, which is what the HBO series Winning Time is based off of. And so definitely, he definitely an interesting cat. But he wrote this book and it caused a lot of stir. The one thing that he's got noted for was that he actually found the baby from Brenda's Got a Baby. He actually located the mother, reunited the son and the mother. But he's also said some disparaging things about Tupac. For instance, saying that he wasn't a tough guy, this and that. He didn't know how to shoot. A few other things, which had the internet in uproar. And if you guys know anything about Pac fans do not play about that man. So it was really, really interesting to have him on his show because Edie is, of course, one of the original members of the Outlaws, and he grew up with Tupac. He knew Tupac when he was in New York. And then when Tupac moved out to the Bay, he came out to the Bay with Tupac and essentially been with him since. So, a lot of stuff that he was talking on, especially like the incident that happened in Marin City, Edie was like, no, how are you going to talk about that and tell me when I was there? And he had to try to tell him, no, yeah, I talked to people. He said, yeah, you talked to people, but I was literally right there. And, bullets were whizzing by, and it was really just really, really intense and interesting. So, yeah, definitely shout out to Edie for the invite. Thank you. I appreciate you. We're going to try to work on something to get him here on the show. I did talk with Jeff Pearlman. Matter of fact, one thing I will say about him, I'm going to give him a little bit of respect because when Edie put out, well, who wants to come to the show, hit us up and or inbox me and I'll send you an invite. I said, hey, I want to go. I got questions and I got smoke for this guy. And he's seen it on the Instagram post. And so doing what I'm pulling the move that I would pull. He message request me and he friend request me. He started following me on Instagram. And then we started talking in the inbox. And so he said, hey, if you got any questions, you can ask me here or you can ask me there. I said, I'll do both. So me being in the true Sagittarius, I pulled up too, so we drove all the way to Calabasas to make it happen. So, but, we did talk. He said he's open to come on to the show. So maybe next Friday we can make it happen. And if anybody out there, all the Pac fans, you got questions for him, get them lined up, get them ready. I threw him a curveball. Shout out to the homie Zayd Malik, saying he was there. He threw him some good curveballs too and actually re-educated him about the code of thug life. So is he perfect? Nah. But, if Edie can have him on the show, especially when somebody who actually knew Tupac, then I think we can have him on this show too.
No, I think that's super dope, man. It's kind of odd, but it's dope.
What's odd about it?
Yeah, a sports writer writing a biopic about somebody that he's never met, and
that part
judging him based off of public view and what's on the internet without context. You know what I mean? And the context would be actually knowing that person. You know what I mean? Saying stuff like he didn't know how to shoot. But we all know he hit a couple officers off duty up there. you know, don't take much to shoot. So I mean, that's ignorant in itself, and some other stuff you had mentioned to me behind the scenes. But I would love to have him on the show because I definitely have questions on what drove him down this path, because this is a long way away from sports.
Oh yeah. I'll reach out to him and see if we can try to pull it off for either next week or the week. I wanted to wait for Edie to put up his show. You know what I'm saying? He did it live, but I know shout out to his producers. So I'm waiting for Edie to put it up. You know what I'm saying? I know actually right now, truthfully, he's interviewing right now with Bomb First. You know what I'm saying? So, but I definitely, that's one of the dream people who I wanted to interview was Edie, because, you know, he grew up with Pac. I'm actually a huge fan of the Outlaws. You know what I'm saying? I got the albums. I even got the Blood Brothers album, you know what I'm saying, with Edie and Castro. So I definitely got some questions. And of course, you know, with me knowing Frank, with me even being cool and associated with Johnny J, you know, I knew people who knew him too. So, you know, if it wasn't for Pac, I don't even know if I would actually be rapping. You know what I'm saying? He inspired me to actually write my life out on pen. So, you know what I mean? So to interview Edie is definitely dope.
Absolutely.
Wait, hold up. Yeah, it'd be okay. But see, here's the thing. I think Pac was a complicated and he was complex. You know, again, you know, and there's a lot of stuff that we could relate. You know, he moved around a lot. I can relate to that. You know, he moved from New York to Baltimore to Marin to Oakland. He never really fit in. At one point, he was raised by his mother, but you know, his story is so much more than that. His mother was a Black Panther who essentially, like, literally defended herself and 20 others, got them all free. You know, she was of the people for the people, but then at some point, the people wasn't really taking care of her, and she had some stuff she had to face. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of what I was taking away from this book made me really empathize more so with her, you know what I'm saying, more so with his sister Set, because, you know, we don't really hear these stories. So there is that aspect of the book. But, you know, if he wasn't a tough guy, no. But at the same time, you know, I mean, there's plenty of things that are documented to show that he wasn't no punk either. You know,
right. I was going to say, are tough guys really tough? That would be my question. Are tough guys really tough?
That's a good
Most
question.
of the time.
I think his toughness was misconstrued with his passion. Like, he is very educated, man, and he stood for what he believed in, and he protected what he believed in. So, do I think he was going around picking fights? Nah, but like what Third said, he wasn't no punk either. So,
exactly,
that's my outtake on that.
Well, that's why I think he resonated so well with the masses, is because everybody could see a version of themselves in Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was able to see a version of themselves, either a past life, the life they living, or a life that they've been a part of, even if it wasn't necessarily them, in understanding the plight of a Black man in America, going through all those different emotions, you know, being educated, being the son of a Panther, who I'm pretty sure he was on FBI watch list and all kind of other stuff, being, you know, a music mogul in a time where there were no rules, and the blueprint hadn't been laid on what you were and weren't supposed to do, you know, and public image and all of those kind of things, and being surrounded by a bunch of gangsters while still being an intellectual is a tough path. So
he was only one of the real ones that was doing it like that back then, you know, like using his platform for that.
I mean,
I think Pac was every version of the person that he portrayed to you. Do I think he lived in it 24/7? Absolutely not. But I think all of us have a thug side when it comes to certain things. I think all of us have a militant side. I think all of us have a poetic life where we find beauty in the small things, and can turn up when necessary.
Oh yeah.
I think he was exactly who he showed us he was.
Yeah. A lot of the people who I knew that knew him, that I talked to personally, they told me that, again, you get several different Pacs. But that's the complexity. The thing about us as humans, if you're real with yourself, the only perfect human being is the imperfect human being. And he was a walking, talking contradiction. But we all are that. You know what I'm saying? We're multifaceted, faceted, where we have different sides. You know what I'm saying? We have we're a different way when we're around our mothers.
Right.
I've just showed you that he's a different character when he's around his daughter. You know what I'm saying? Quez is probably a different character when he's around his son. When we get together, when we hang out, we're different amongst ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like just because you're one way over here and you may not be this way over, it does not mean that you're fake. Doesn't mean that you're fronting. Doesn't mean anything. Because again, the same people who you see that will baby their daughters or nieces, nephews, and sons or whatever will be the same ones that will still pop off if you test them. And that was the thing. I think he got tested each and every single city that he went to because people would try to act like he was a punk. You know what I'm saying? So there were times when so one of the things where Jeff said in the book was that, oh, he wasn't a fighter, he wasn't this, he wasn't that. But in the same breath, the people that he's interviewing, because he interviewed like 600 people, you have people saying that, if somebody threatened them, like, hey, well, we're looking for Tupac, Pac would be the first one up. Even if he got his tail kicked, he would step up, like, hey, you looking for me? And sometimes he'd pop off and he would swing and he would knock folks out. He won some, he lost some. You know what I'm saying? So even the book itself is a walking, talking contradiction. He was no punk.
Yeah. I think you explained that pretty well, Third. You know what I'm saying? We are different versions of ourselves depending on who we're around. So I think that's a very insightful theory on that.
It says not to say he was fake.
Not to say he was fake, but every artist has to play a part for the image when you get that big. What part wasn't the real Pac? I think that truthfully, man, I think he showed you. That's what made Pac so relatable, because he showed you his vulnerability. The man said in a song, literally, even as a crack fiend mama, you always was a black queen mama. I finally understand. For a woman, it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed. A poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it. There's no way I could pay you back. But the plan is to show you that I understand. You are appreciated. And if you look at that, that's vulnerability. So how is that not real? Even if he's relating in his music, he's showing you that he can be the thug. He's showing that he can be sensitive. He's showing you that, hey, that there's women out here like the Dear Mamas to keep your head up. The Brenda's got a baby, but then there's wonder why they call you bitch. He's talking about the money hungry grubbing chicks out there. He's saying that not every one person is going to be one way, or not every person is the exact same. You have some women over here who are queens. You have some over here who are this. You have some dudes over here who are kings, and you have some dudes who are punks.
And I think we got to keep in mind, people be talking about Pac like he was 47. You know what I'm saying?
He was that educated, though. He was.
This dude was 25 years old when he passed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? What were you like at 23?
Not like that.
Exactly.
I'll tell you that. He was light years ahead of it, man.
What version of truth were you at 24, 25? You know what I'm saying? We talk about Pac like he lived an expansive life. You know what I'm saying? Where we got to see Pac be a father, a grandfather. You know what I'm saying? An uncle. We didn't get those versions because his life was cut short. What we got from 25-year-old Pac is stuff that we could walk into today. You know what I'm saying? Kids still resonate with Tupac.
There's a lot of things too, like, when he was speaking, like when he was going up against politicians about their policies and how people are being mistreated. Obviously, we all see it. 90% of that stuff is still going on today. And if that was the version of Tupac that they tried to demonize. Like he tried to make him look to be a rapist. Like he was just spreading the bad word. His music was trash, just gang violence, promoting raping, thugging, all that stuff. They tried to demonize him over that,
Right?
Because he wasn't with the system. Like if you look back on his interviews,
I don't want to give it away, but in part there's something kind of similar to like that in this book, which really had me heated. Which is why again I showed up. So I respect him for pulling up on my DMs, but I had that question. Like, I still got questions. But I wanted to save him for here on this show. So if he comes on, which I think he is, because again, he's not run away from any type of faith thus far. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna reach out to him like, hey, he said, hey, just shoot me the link. We'll talk online. So I'm gonna put it out there and he'll pull up. You know what I'm saying? So and then definitely, if we can make that Edie interview happen, I definitely got some questions for him. But it was definitely a great experience. So shout out to Edie of the Outlaws. Shout out to Jeff Pearlman. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to make this happen. Oh, well, real quick, because Jess was there. I'm over here doing all the talking. Jess, what was your experience?
I can't wait till he comes on the show. Because I got
Damn.
too.
damn,
Just with the smoke.
she had the look too. She had the look like he messed up, bro. Like damn.
No, he not coming now. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Jess.
She said, "I want him on the show." I was like,
But no, I heard you guys talking about a thug life and all that. Thugs can't be sensitive. Like that's being fake if he's sensitive. That's pretty interesting. I think that he was just above his time. He was probably mature for his age, probably because of everything that he went through. He had to grow up fast because he had to take care of his mom. So he was very knowledgeable on a lot of stuff. And it seems like he had that emotional intelligence as well.
But again, like the perfect thing that Quest said, he got put on when he was like, what, 18, 19? You know what I'm saying? And he died at 25. You know what I'm saying? So again, and I think what has been put out there is that a lot of us men don't really fully start really maturing until after 25, 26, and maybe, but there's still some who are out there who still haven't really matured, but we ain't talking about them. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? You're still essentially a kid. So you know what I'm saying? So he had to go through the complexities of that, the complexities of, okay, my mother is over here in this predicament. And then he became like, the symbolism hero for his family. But then also too, he took on the weight of the world as being like a symbol of hope for the hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, he had a lot on his shoulders, facing false accusations, because I don't believe what happened in New York was true. Didn't make sense. He got locked up for 4 years for forcibly touching the buttocks. You know what I'm saying? So it just, and these are just facts. This isn't even allegedly. He consensually was with the chick. Then all of a sudden, because he probably dismissed her afterwards, she got in her feelings. You know what I mean? But again, that's neither here nor there. But we'll extend the invite and see if he comes on. So you know what I mean? But real quick, we totally, the whole format. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to come on, the link is in the comments on Facebook. Please make sure you're sharing. Also too, if you're coming on, you're using your phone, please use headphones, because they will pick up any and everything, and then also feedback will come into the show. So please, to eliminate that, please use your headphones. Also too, make sure you're near your Wi-Fi. Make sure there's no music going on in the background. Make sure that you're sitting still. We don't want you traveling, doing X, Y, and Z. No sitting on the toilet, no eating, no, talking to people on the side. This, like Wes says, this is a production. And so you could be clipped up and be put out into the world. And we don't want you looking, ratchet. You know what I mean? But other than that, we can, also too, this is a safe place. If you come on, if you got questions, especially for the pastor, this is what this show is for. You know what I'm saying? We're not judging. Even though things may get heated, let's just try to agree to disagree respectfully, and just
just make sure it's just all love.
Absolutely.
Think about that, guys. Like what you're just saying. Tupac came on the scene when he was like 18, 19. He left us when he was 25. And he had that big of a freaking mark.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
30 years later, we're still talking about him.
we didn't even get to 10-year mark with him, you know? Like he was there for that short time and left that big of a mark.
Right.
That's
It's a
wild.
great
Yeah.
perspective.
Imagine what
Pastor Braxton, you
30-year-old Pac would say. You know what I'm saying? 35-year-old Pac. What would be the message?
Right, exactly. All right, y'all. We're gonna show some ads, we're gonna show some love, and we'll be right back.
Okay, we back at the Boss Up Brunch. You know, I got the Queen with me. The event hasn't started yet. We get here a little early, but it's an amazing event so far. The atmosphere is.
There we go. We're gonna get the event host in here.
Ooh, I like the camera.
She said she wasn't coming back no more last year, but hey.
You did it. You called me. He was the reason why I came back, y'all. I'm so happy to be here today with all the loving kings and queens. Today we are about to set it off, y'all. We about to learn about some Lord, some business, all of it. You name it, big business, not the little one.
Hey,
like I said, this is a networking event where we get together with all kind of bosses, not just from Georgia, not just from Atlanta. We have Florida in the building. We have North Carolina, just different places, you know, all over. And we have vendors
I'm
out
here
there.
with Tiffany from Blissful Body Butters out here in Fayetteville, Georgia. At the Boss Up with me.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great.
Suited in. We're here with JS Liquid Buzz. You know what I'm saying? All right, people. So we here with the event owner. She got the spread out for the brunch. It's the Boss Up Brunch.
I'm Nikki Baker, owner of Highly Favored Event Center, also caterer and owner of Nikki Sweets and Things. A one-stop shop for all your event needs, your food, your treats, your decor, your hosting, anything to make you have that homely atmosphere to have a good time and share good memories.
Hi, I'm feeling absolutely wonderful and blessed. This is going to be a great event. So come on out. If you haven't already, step foot in the room. Don't be wondering what's going on in the room. Be in the room.
You better tell them. It's different in the room.
That advice. We are big boss here, not the little ones. We are big boss doing move, expanding. Come network with the rest of us. See you soon.
All right. We love it. We love it.
This soul food spot is a hidden gem in San Bernardino. With $10, you get a full plate and they do not hold back. It's a family-ran spot and they make you feel right at home with the crispy fried chicken that's juicy, mac and cheese and collard greens that slap, and their crispy fried fish. When you pair it with the yams and the potato salad, it's game over. Top it with the dessert, all homemade. The food hits, the prices are beyond fair, and the hospitality is great. All at Melba's Soul Food Kitchen in San Bernardino.
The Chosen Project is a visionary saga that blends African heritage, biblical allegory, and mythic fantasy into a story of exile, revelation, and destiny. Through Enoch's journey, the series explores the battle between seen and unseen forces, inviting readers into a spiritual odyssey both timeless and urgently modern. Available on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited. Check out The Chosen Project by A.J. Moore.
All right, y'all. We are back. Quiz had to step away for a minute.
But yes, make sure that you check out Melba's. Also, too, make sure you check out The Chosen Project by AJ Moore. Make sure you check out DJ Method X right here. Shout out your socials real quick. You're muted, sir.
My bad. My social links. Yeah, Instagram Method XSD and at TikTok at Method XSD.
I bet. All right, y'all. So to kick it off, we're actually talking about there's a clip that's been resurfacing online, and it was really interesting, and it brought up a good conversation that we were kind of slightly digging into last week, but we knew that it was going to take up the time to where we didn't have much time to talk about it, so we're bringing it here. But we're fortunate because we also have Pastor in the house too, who will be here to help guide us for any questions, anything as far as even just educating us on the certain things. And so it's definitely just going to be an interesting one. But the breakdown of religious trauma is religious trauma refers to psychological harm caused by hold on a sec, y'all.
Good. I need to brush up on this because I was slammed last week.
Religious trauma refers to psychological harm caused by experiences within religious contexts such as abusive practices, indoctrination, or loss of faith. Causes spiritual abuse, e.g., like manipulation, shaming, indoctrination, rigid beliefs, fear, punishment, loss of community or an identity, witnessing or perpetuating violence in the name of religion, or sexual or physical abuse within a religious setting. So there's definitely multiple things of it. The symptoms breakdown is anxiety, depression, PTSD-like symptoms, guilt, shame, self-doubt, difficulty trusting others, forming healthy relationships, loss of faith or spiritual disillusionment, confusion about identity and values, or fear of speaking out or seeking help. So it was something that was brought out or put out there by Kirk Franklin and the Den of Kings, and so we're gonna definitely play the clip, and we shall circle back.
In Christianity, it's a thing where people praise the Son more than they praise the Father, and that's what I don't like. Okay. Because if we are man made in a likeness, Jesus is our brother. You get what I'm saying? Why would I drop down and praise my brother instead of praising my father? And that goes back to honoring your parents.
I just gotta say something.
What?
Have you read the Bible?
I read the Bible. I listen to the Bible. I receive from source straight.
I would say read it again.
Sir.
Let me ask you a question, Ray Jack.
We're back, and welcome to the stage, pastor of one of the tightest, dopest, most down-to-earth churches out here in the IE. This man is definitely taking us in, taking me in as like family. He treats us like family. He makes time for me and Jess. He's definitely a man in the community. I'm saying? I'm definitely in awe of his come up. I'm definitely in awe of his inspiration, or even just by his walk of faith with God, to come from Sacramento, to come back down to his hometown to open up a church. Started out in the backyard. Now he has his building, and it's just going to expand even further. So without further ado, we bring it to the stage, Pastor Richard Braxton.
What's going on, y'all?
Hey.
What's going on? Best wasn't on the 1 and 2s, but we got you. Hold up and say,
I love his shirt. He has a Hawaiian shirt on. I'm Mario.
What was
that? Was my bad. That was my bad. My fault.
Man, okay, man, don't let him try this again, man.
I hit the wrong button, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't be touching it.
Hey, I can dig with the countdown too. I can dig with the countdown.
We were supposed to play that before you came up. You know what I'm saying?
It was all good. It's all good. I would say just the love and the that I feel here in the chat, and it's all love. You know, even Method X like my Hawaiian shirt. So
I love it. I don't like it. I love it.
That's
You
what
go-
I'm saying.
That's good. I love that. That's swag right there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Man, so let's dive into it, man. Let's dive right on in because we got 50 minutes. You know, we don't want to take up too much and pass the time. God knows.
And in between, we're gonna take a break because I didn't get a chance to run the ads. I want to make sure everybody gets love. You know, like I said, Pops dropped the book. You know, I want to make sure that he gets his love and recognition for the book. So make sure you check that out. But what were your thoughts on that clip that you guys seen? We'll start off with the panel and then we'll get to Pastor Braxton.
Well, yeah, you want my honest opinion. I guess I'll jump out there. Everybody got nervous when the pastor got here. You know, don't nobody want to talk no. It's all right.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
I'll jump out there. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. But no, I think there was two different dynamics that happened just in that short amount of time. It looked like NLE Chopper is going through what a lot of us go through in our early walk. You know what I'm saying? Because NLE Chopper is only like, what, 23, 24? And he's discovering God for himself. So, of course, he has questions. He has things that may not align with his current way of thinking. So, he's in a version where he's challenging the system, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the other dynamic I saw was Jonathan Majors, though it may have been funny, kind of downplay an opportunity to educate. You know what I mean? If you had a point to prove to that young brother right then, you should have combated that with some scholarship instead of judgment. You know, because it was kind of dismissive. You know, with the "Have you read the Bible? You should read it again." That's kind of dismissive for somebody who's at that point. And I think sometimes that's where that quote unquote religious trauma comes from, because when people have genuine questions or genuine thought patterns, they're not met with scholarship. They're met with judgment and critique and criticism that's not really constructive. So that's what I saw, you know, just from that basic clip. And, you know, I think there's a couple conversations to be had from that, but those are the two basic main ones I got from it.
You're dead on. I saw like a different perspective and a chance to get educated on, because even me, if I didn't agree with the person, I would have asked them, okay, so why do you think that? Where did you feel like he gave you that idea? And they could have had discussion over it. You know, there's gotta, and unfortunately, that's a problem that we're dealing with the world, is there got to be dialogue. you gotta be able to talk things out. And unfortunately, that right there, that moment could have probably rubbed him in the wrong way to where he was like, okay, church is not thing for me, or this is not this, and this is how I get treated, and this is my perspective over it. It can go so much further than that, and it probably happens with a lot of people. But going back to what you said, yeah, you definitely could have had a discussion over it right there instead of just turning him out on it.
All right. Jess?
Yeah, I feel the same way, that it was dismissive and kind of like, if you read the Bible, then you should know type thing, you know? And like you guys are saying, like, it should have been like, oh, well, let's turn to this scripture right here or something, you know what I mean? To where it would, you know, give him more understanding, you know?
Third.
Similar to y'all. You know, I think, again, whether he's right, wrong, or indifferent, he's entitled to his opinion, or even if it was just a sincere question or a thought or a perspective that he came up with, he's entitled to that. And I think he should have been given grace to, if he was wrong, to make grace for his mistake. And and I thought that would have been a perfect time to educate. Like, okay, I get what you're saying. But no, it says this right here. And it definitely could have gone down a different type of way, but I love the dynamic that's there, that all these men are over here talking, trying to, it's meant to uplift and still sharpen the steel, but I don't think it happened at that moment. What else? Scenario says, that's my pastor. Alexander said they did treat him like he should know, or perhaps he lacks intelligence because he didn't interpret the Bible the way the people on the panel did.
Yeah.
Pastor
He was
Brett.
pretty headstrong about it too. When he was making a statement, he was pretty headstrong about it, and I would love to see where he got that. Why he was so hard up about it. Like, okay,
Well,
why do you feel that way?
Well, here's the thing. My goofy butt forgot to upload the actual clip with Minister Farrakhan actually quoting a Bible where part in the Bible where it says Jesus commands us to follow. But at the same time, Pastor Braxton can maybe expound on that a little bit more.
Yes. Well, sometimes I try to, when I look at a clip, I try to get the whole concept of it. So with the clip that I did see, definitely it could have been an opportunity to really educate and love the brother through what he was going through, and then really clarify with scripture. I mean, that's the way to really help an individual grow in their faith, because basically what he was saying was it had truth in it, right? But it was making sure that we just don't build a whole concept on one part of the truth, but we bring the whole truth together. Because at the end of the day, Jesus is my brother, in that context. But the relationship of, the Father and Jesus is one. And so really bringing that down and making a concept and understanding, and it really makes it, it's an opportunity, so I have a couple scriptures if y'all want me to, just to for our audience, or to bring clarity, or to bring understanding to it. And so, because Jesus, this is what I always say this right here: religion always divides, right? Relationship always brings us back together. And so understanding relationship, the Father and Jesus is one. Jesus always said, when you see me, you see Daddy, right? And we're one. So there is no division. There is no separation. So, but that's what religion does. A religious mindset will try to divide and say, well, this is the right way, or that's the right way, or I should worship this, or I should worship that. But the way that Jesus showed himself in that aspect of the Father and Jesus are one, really shows it's the oneness in relationship that God desires us to have, right? It's a oneness right there. So, but the scripture that I have to bring some clarification is we got John 14, 9 and 10, which I'll go to. Then you got John 6 and 8, and it says, just Jesus says, for I have come down from heaven, not on my own authority, or my own will. It says, but the will of him who has sent me. Another one is, I was really looking at John 5:19 says, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he sees the Father do, for whatever he does, the Son also does in the same manner. So it just shows us how it's oneness, right? Jesus, like, I can't do nothing without the Father, and he was showing the relationship, or that divine connection with him, in essence of it's the same nature of relationship that Jesus wants all of us to have, is to have that relationship with the Father, just like how he has a relationship with the Father. So that concept, but to show the oneness, Jesus really broke that down in John 14, and it says, Jesus said to him, "Have I been with you so long yet? You have not known me, Philip?" He says, "He who has seen me has seen the Father. So how can you say, 'Show me the Father'? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does the work." And he says, "And believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or else believe me for the sake of the works of themselves." Verse 12 says, "Most surely I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do will do, and greater works than these will do, because I go to my Father. And whoever asks in my name, that I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son." And it says, "If you ask anything in my name, I will do it." So you see the relationship, right? There is no separation. And that's what relationship does. Religion tries to separate us apart.
Right.
Relationships bring us together.
Together.
And so you see how that's what Jesus was talking about. He's like, man, he was like, Philip, how long are you gonna be with me? It was the same kind of question that Philip was like, how long are you gonna be with me? That's what Jesus was like, how long you seen me? If you seen me, you seen the Father, right? Me and the Father were one. And so it just shows the relationship between Jesus and the Father and how we relate to Jesus and the Father. They're one.
Right.
So how you talking about who should I worship, who should I go to? Jesus is like, man, as you pray to me in the name of Jesus, you're going to the Father. And so it's just the oneness that bringing a clear of understanding in. So that was part of my perspective in that.
So as a pastor, I got to ask you, and especially with what we just kind of witnessed, because, Quez was the one that brought it up to me too. And I thought about it, is it instances like that actually deter people from actually coming to church? Or because one of the things that I've learned, like you said, I had to learn over the years as I got older, is that God values relationship over religion.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that a lot of people forget that tenor. And
absolutely.
So they try to force, religion on people, like, oh, you have to walk them straight. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to.
Absolutely.
They forget the main point. Do you think that that's something that you've seen within your walk that's kept people from coming?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time, man. Because people come from so much of a traditional background, right? You got a Catholic background, you got a Baptist background, and you got all these different backgrounds that are out of tradition. That's why I love Faith Point Ministry so much, because I can wear some jeans or I can wear some flip flops and call it a day. You know what I mean? Because we're not here for a show, right? We're not here to I got to do this or I got to do that. No, everybody we're all building a relationship with God, and God knows my heart. He knows where I am in this walk, and He brings me to Him through His love. But religion puts people away. But that's where the trauma comes into the play. But to answer the question, absolutely, I see that all the time. You know what I mean? People come in with so much, I would say, trauma or hurt or baggage. Watch you are here, not from people in the congregation, but from the leadership, from how the leader portrays things, or how the pastor portrays things, or the system that they are in, that brings people into a condemnation, not bring them into revelation. So I always try to bring us into a revelation of who God is. And then I always say this right here. People always say, well, I'm trying to build my relationship with God. Well, my understanding, my thinking is different. It's almost like, I always look at it like this. as a parent, you love your child even before your child even knows what love is. Right? Even before what a child knows what love is, you as a natural parent automatically loves your child and providing for your child and doing things for your child. So, but what the child is understanding is a child is a revealing of who the parent is. So it's the same thing with my relationship with Christ. I'm not trying to build my relationship with Christ. He's just revealing himself to me. I'm understanding who he is. Just like how a parent or a child understands who he don't know what mom and daddy is right away. But if you keep on being around and you see that love and that nurture, then automatically you're like, oh, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's somebody special. So it's the same kind of relationship. It's when there is no trauma from leadership, and you're really getting to build a relationship. You're building a relationship in the nature and the revealing of who God is to you.
Right.
So that's what I was saying.
Man, hey, look, you killed a lot of my talking points. You know what I mean? Such a great expert. No, because really, I felt it was necessary when he told me you were coming on. You know, I kind of had a lineup of questions of things that not only I've experienced, but other people experience in the church, because it's a commonality. But I think the way that you expounded upon how religion and relationship are two very different things.
Yes.
And understanding too, because I always tell people, a lot of us talk at God. We don't talk to him. To have a conversation, sometimes you got to shut up and listen.
Come on.
And a lot of us, even when praying, I say this: when we pray, we kind of pray, and then we're like, well, man, God ain't answer me fast enough, so I'm still gonna do what I think is best. And then when it don't work, you were like, well, dang, God failed me. No, you probably should have shut up and waited for the answer.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Just getting people to understand that fact, because like you said, sometimes it's not even the church itself, because some churches, let's be real, some churches are like a social club. You know what I mean? You go in there, you go through the motions, and the usher boards and the choir, and everybody got their little cliques. And then there's these individuals who don't really fit into anything, and they trying to find their way and navigate through those religious doctrines and traditions, as you said, and kind of still, get to the walk part.
Yes.
I mean, and they kind of fighting through all that before they even get to the walk, because it's kind of uncomfortable when you first set out on that journey. So I do appreciate you adding a lot of context to that, because if I could have thought of an answer for somebody, that was probably the best way to answer it.
Because what I love about Jesus so much is Jesus hated tradition.
Right.
I mean, if you really looked at what he did, I mean, he even though he is the high priest of all, he never dressed up as a priest. That's why if you come to Faith Point, you'll never see me with a robe on. It's too hot for a big old robe. I'm going to church like this, and we're gonna read the Bible together, and we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna worship God. We're gonna go home. But if you really look at the nature of what Jesus did, like he hated tradition. He broke down religious things and religious ceremonies and try to bring them into relationship. So I love the story of Nicodemus, where Nicodemus was a very high religious man. He came to Jesus at night, but Jesus didn't turn him away. Jesus, he ministered to him. He talked to him. And I think back to the clip, that's the most important thing when you have an opportunity to love on somebody, and I don't even like saying minister to them. When you have opportunity to love on them through the love of Christ, right? Love is going to demonstrate understanding. Love is going to demonstrate, okay, this is where you are right now. So let me tailor this message to where you are right now. because I love you where you are. I thank God that God has loved me where I am in my life. I didn't grow up in church. You know what I mean? I came to God at 27 years old, straight heathen, didn't know nothing about God. I mean, you know, I'll tell y'all, for me being a pastor, like I always tell people, man, for me, when people say Richard Braxton, be like, Richard Braxton being a pastor, like he was like the last one on the list that should be a pastor. but again, you know, back to that clip, I was that young man that had a lot of questions and a lot of hurt. I had a lot of hurt from fathers and men in my life, and trying to accept, you know, God and the nature of a man, in that nature. You know, it really took me some time to really cultivate this really love relationship. Now I love him. I love the Father. And, I love the Holy Spirit. I mean, I have this love relationship again because God showed me his love where I am, not just where I was, not where he want me to be, if that's the best way I can say it. So if we're doing that, if we're loving people where they are, right, and not where they're going to be, but love them where they are, they're going to eventually get there. Right. But it's to demonstrate love, and as you demonstrate love, you'll minister to the person, right?
And it's like I think I was explaining to Quez. It's like I related to NLE Chopper, just like you said. I at one point when I was young, I'm very inquisitive. I ask a lot of questions. I'm curious. I've read encyclopedias since I was like 5, since I was able to read. But of course, you have so many questions, and one of the things I asked a family member, I asked the family member what it meant to be baptized, and essentially what they said was you're washing away your sins, and that's what I interpreted as a kid. So when it came down time to it was the year 2000, and they were putting all this, the world may end tomorrow. The morning you don't want to go into the 2000 lying, and then I'm like, man, the worst thing I've ever did at that point was lie. So I'm like, you know what? I just want to start off clean. It is. And when I did it, nobody really explained to me that, no, you're joining a church, you're joining this, you're joining that. And there was so many rules, so many things that got hit at me at once. And at that point, my passion even then was still music. I wanted to do music. And I went into this family member and I asked them, I said, like, hey, well, I want to rap. What does that mean? What can I do? And this person very harshly said, well, if you put a C in front of rap, that's my opinion of it. And it's horrible. It's bad. And, and I'm just like, man, as a person who this is a passion, I'm like, wow, like, and then in the same paragraphs, so to say, they say, well, you could be a Christian rapper because if you do Christian, but me being the smart aleck kid that I was, I'm like, well, you just said that rap is horrible. It's this, it's that, and you really degraded it. But because if you put a couple, change the subject, and it's good. So what is it? Is rap good or bad? And that from right there left a bad taste in my mouth and a distrust, with certain people, especially like you said, when you start getting hit with these rules. And it wasn't until later, again, I've already had my walk within life, but when I stepped into a real church and they explained to me, God values relationship over religion. Again, like you said, Pastor Braxton, it's one of the reasons why I love Faith Point, because I could walk in there, not that I'm trying to, but if I'm like, man, I don't feel like getting dressed up, I can walk in my jeans, or I don't feel no judgment, and from the very first day, it's always just been love and open arms. And there's only been 3 churches that I've been to within my life that I've ever felt that, so.
Yeah. And I was going back to the clip, looking at that young man who's 23 years old growing, I would ask him, well, what trauma did you get from the age of 1 to 15 that you can remember? Because that's where I really saw when I saw that one little clip. You know what I mean? There was a lot of trauma there. It was a lot of it was a lot of layers, that he might have been going through or might have been feeling, and then still dealing with the fame, or all the different things. But I that was one thing I would really deal with is what trauma that you deal with that has led you to this place, and so a lot of it, it may be like you said, maybe he had some religious trauma, or that some areas where he felt judged or being judgmental. But it's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, from somebody who grew up in church, during that, to add context, he talked about how his grandmother and whatnot, but he didn't really grow up in the church. And me having gone through my life where I walked away from it and went through a path that led me right back to it, but at a different understanding. I could see where he's at right now, without having, of course, I didn't have millions of dollars and all these other temptations that on top of that to have to deal with. But I think the very important thing that you, Pastor Braxton, brought up is if we really pay attention to what Jesus's walk was, he would have been outside with NLE Chopper, you know what I'm saying, and not at the church. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was flipping tables in the synagogue. You know what I mean? And essentially, the way I view it, based on my understanding of reading it, tradition killed Jesus, not what I'm saying, anything else.
You're absolutely right.
So
I'm glad.
Go ahead.
You hit that on the nail, sir. Tradition killed Jesus. Sin didn't kill Jesus. Tradition killed Jesus, and that's what kills generations when people draw away from God, or what kills that relationship with God is the tradition. Because there's every generation is different. Every generation has a different thing that they deal with. Now, like for instance, now we got technology. I remember this. I remember that back in the day when I started using my iPad, doing my sermons in the iPad and stuff. And there was this one pastor was like, "There's no way you can use your iPad and read out the Bible at the same time." I was like, what? You know what I mean? But in his era, you know what I mean? They didn't have iPads. They didn't have. It was just the Bible and a big notepad, and they go through the notes. But for me, wait a minute, man. I'm gonna use this technology for me. So
it's multitasking.
So again, it's tradition brings the trauma on people. Right. You know what I mean? I always say this right here. We never change the message, but we do change the method. God changed the method. You got to. How can I relate to somebody if I just try to use my own era or my own tradition or my own time, right? Yeah. Or even my own nationality. Right. I got to relate to you where you are in your life. So the message never changed. The method does, but the message never changed. So back to that clip, it's the method that we can minister and love him through it. He's on point. Just bringing him all the way in.
You see that, Third? There's a method.
Hey, listen to him.
See what he did? See what he did right there?
I did. This guy gonna plug himself with Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
He needs to be wearing this. Like, he needs to wear a shirt. Like, I gotta send him one.
No, but I did go back and watch a majority of that show, and it just seemed to be a lot of that. To be honest, it was a lot of beating up on that young man. And when I talked to Third about it, I was telling him, you know, because I have sons and I got nephews and cousins and all of that, you know, being younger than me. There was a sense of ego at that table that was uncalled for, you know. It felt like, why'd y'all even invite him if you wasn't going to get any understanding from him? And it goes back to kind of what we've been talking about. When you get into these certain environments, even though I watch those grown men say they you know what I'm saying, gave up on God at certain points in their life and turned their back and all of those acknowledgments, but couldn't understand where this young man was coming from, and proceeded to chastise him, because that's how I looked at it. They low-key was chastising him for being at that table and having an opinion and that didn't align with what they had going on. And that was my whole problem with it, because like I said, I have sons, and you know, a wise man knows that he knows nothing at all, you know. So it doesn't matter who the messenger is in certain scenarios. You can learn something from everybody. I've learned to communicate with my son better by listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not talking at him, but actually listening to him and taking into consideration the things that bother him about the way I spoke or the way I communicated with him in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helped me as an individual with not only him, but other people, you know, with my wife, with coworkers, you know what I'm saying? But my son showed me that, you know what I mean? And if I was so egotistical to be, well, you know, do as I say and not as I, you know, do, which we've all probably heard, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy. You just go do what I, you know what I mean? Like, if you live in that space, you can't grow there. And I felt like they cheated themselves out of an opportunity to grow, because like we said, they could have had an open conversation and got to understanding and some scholarship to that young brother. But yeah, that just watching the whole thing, it kind of felt like, why'd you invite him if y'all was just gonna beat up on him like this? I didn't get it.
Right. You know, you just threw a great nugget out there. I call it catching those nuggets. You know, learning to be a great listener is really a skill set.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a skill set to learn how to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And because a lot of times you just learn how to listen to whoever you're talking to, and with using that context, just really not learning how to not listen to rebuttal, but listen to understand.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the person that's talking, they would figure out their own way in the conversation. So when you do throw those little tidbits, or you know, you throw a little nugget in there, it just builds up to, it helps build a puzzle, right? You guys, one thing I love about God, you know, God, he loves for us to fill in the puzzle, right? He gives us the puzzles that all scattered apart. He loves for us to bring up the puzzle together. But that is a great tool that I learned, and I try to do, is I try to learn how to listen. You know, listen to conversations, not without rebuttaling, not even trying to have the answer, but learn how to listen to really bring that individual in and understand where they are.
Yep. Real quick, Scenario says, I haven't been baptized yet either. Guess he was referring back to what I was talking about. I'm actually baptized, man. I didn't know essentially the deeper meaning behind getting baptized when I did it, but I still did though.
I'm in the same boat as you.
Huh?
I said I'm in the same boat as you. I got baptized and didn't understand everything behind it, and then the church just was not for me, man. At least that one. So,
like I said, I found some other ones, like, shout out to Faith Point. Like I said, I walked in there on the strength of Jess. It's a really family atmosphere. The Way's a good church, and then True Vine Ministries. You know what I'm saying? So there's some good churches out there. Just that one that I went to, yeah, I just wasn't really feeling it. And it felt like a 10-pound weight was on my chest. I felt suppressed. You know what I'm saying? And I walk into those 3 churches that I just named, and I don't feel judged. Automatically just love, open arms, embrace. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the best feelings in the world. Scenario says Jonathan Major and Ray J didn't really give him that welcoming love feeling like Kirk did. He felt like he had to stand his as a grown man. Yeah, I feel you. That's one of the reasons why, I wanted to talk about this, because again, this is one of the things that I like. We can put stuff on the table, have an open dialogue. I kind of wanted to do what they didn't do. And the best person to do that with was Pastor Braxton, because again, he does not judge. And if there's any type of confusion, there's anybody watching, we don't know who we're reaching, who this message may get to, who may hear it. And I felt like that was the perfect way for them to showcase that love and that understanding, and it just didn't happen. Shout out to Kirk Franklin. He's doing this thing with that. But in case there's somebody like a young me or a young Rob that's watching, I wanted to actually get straight from the pastor's mouth what it is, what I'm saying, and to actually diagnose what some people may feel, which is, religious trauma,
Hey, listen, man. Yeah, we appreciate Pastor Braxton, man, because at the end of it, there's a lot of individuals who wouldn't come to a situation like this. You know what I mean? We're a little righteous and ratchet, you know what I mean, from time to time. So, we appreciate you coming on down here. But seriously.
So am I. I'm a little righteous and ratchet at the same time. I got that in me. Don't worry about it. I ain't grow up in church.
Hey, but that's what makes it true to life, man. Because a lot of people wouldn't entertain this. It's out of their comfort zone. It's out of the norm. So I do want to give you your flowers, because this isn't your first time on the show, and we probably should have did this the first time you came, but also just acknowledging that this is an act of love. You know what I mean? This is an act of leadership, because you took the time to have those scriptures ready, to have that dialogue ready to help people get understanding, who may be going through this, who will never probably jump on this panel, who will never say nothing in the comments, but who may watch this back in the future and garner some grace from it, because you broke it down so well, just on a level playing field. Not, of course we got you up as Pastor Braxton, but right now you just Richard, to be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like you're talking like one of the homies, right? Like, it was such a good vibe.
Yeah, it's Rich. The big homie Rich in here, you know what I'm saying? Big homie Rich came and dropped some jewels.
That's it. That's it.
And that's what it is.
I love, honestly, like I said, I didn't grow up in church, so I love going to a place and there's no man's Richard. Like when people see me, they be like, "You're a pastor?" You know what I mean? Like you, but I love that I don't look like a typical what somebody think is a pastor. But it's just being transparent. I mean, you look at Jesus, man. The name Jesus was Yahshua was a common name. There was a whole lot of Yahshuas. He never demonstrated himself as I'm this big old guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yahshua himself just demonstrated himself as love. You know what I mean? Common individual with the kingdom of God within inside of him, and he wanted to share it out to everybody else. He had assignment, he had a purpose, he had a call, he had a destiny. He knew exactly what he was supposed to do. Didn't get caught up on titles, and that's back to that trauma. Didn't get caught up in titles, didn't get caught up in all the different. That's what people get hurt at. That's where the trauma comes in at. You know, all the different things that religion brings.
Right.
Jesus never got caught up in all that stuff. So I thank God. I never really got caught up in the religious circles kind of stuff. I'm just a person who loves God. That's it.
Hey man, you know, truth be told, man, the least among you shall be first, right?
Come on, sir.
Hey, nobody thought Pastor Braxton was gonna be the pastor, but he here.
No, sir, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, my homeboys, they still be tripping out to this day. Like, man, I knew what he was doing, you know.
That part.
I knew that guy in high school. Like, he was the guy, you know.
Hey, real quick,
keep your daughters away from that guy right there.
No, let's real quick though. Like, let's kind of talk about that. I think, not your personal stuff, but no, like, no.
I thought he was gonna bust out the yearbook.
No. I'm saying like in that scenario, because a lot of people suffer with imposter syndrome because of their past, you know, and walking into their next part of life. If you could just expound upon kind of like how that transition was for you as an individual without, you know, divulging all your personal business, but, you know, kind of talk about how that journey was, because there's a lot of people who, because of where they were placed in life or the scenario that was handed to them in their life, they didn't see the next version of them, and walking into it kind of feels weird. You know what I mean?
That's
I know, my fault.
That's a great. I mean, those are great questions. You know, because it is.
Method, we gonna kick you off the show with them chips.
When you're building a relationship with God, He shows you a different version of who you are. And so, me growing up, you know, I was an athlete, so I was the typical jock. You know what I mean? Drug and alcohol was not my thing. You know, never was my thing. So, never really got into drugs, never got into alcohol. But women, that was my thing. But I would say my testimony is I'm married 24 years and never cheated on my wife. That is a miracle for me. That right there for a brother like me, like you know, like the issues I had back in the past, that is a miracle for me. I was talking to my dad the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, Dad, it's been 24 years and one woman." My dad was like, "That's a long time, son." I said, "Absolutely, that's a long time. But it's a long time." But I would say just not allowing people to throw my past in this new version who I am. In all my friends, even though they know my past, they respect the version that I've become. They have accepted this Richard Braxton. And so they know that this Richard Braxton ain't gonna go to the club. This Richard Braxton ain't gonna, you know, when they do their thing, they know, don't call pastor. You know, we know he ain't coming. But yeah, me just, you know, me going through that time, it was very lonely at moments, going through a different version, moving from my friends and moving from where I grew up at. And so basically that's part of how I got to Sacramento after college. My mom was like, "Hey, you're not coming back here." You know, it's one of them kind of, the plate is broken, so you better find another place to live. You know, you 21, you know, 22 years old. Hey, you ain't on, my mom was like, "You ain't on mama's milk no more. You better figure it out." And so my sister was like, "Hey, you can come up here and live in Sacramento, just on one condition: you got to go to church." And I was like, "Okay, cool." You know, but not knowing that was a process that changed my life. And so, you know, going through the version of, and a lot of things, like I would say me growing up, like, you know, like one thing I can say that, you know, God has freed me from was, you know, I got molested when I was a young age, and it always felt like it was a dream. But it was not until I experienced this version of who God wanted me to be, that I was released from that shame and what happened to me and everything that came through that. So now I can say, yeah, I was molested and this happened, and you know what I mean, and free from all that, free from my past, free from the pain of all those different things. But it came from that relationship. It came from that love. Like, it didn't come from tradition. It came from God. He loved me where I am, you know, and that makes me want to be better because he loves me for who I am. And so, yeah, coming through that, and so coming back home, you know, me going to Sacramento, and people didn't really know me like how they know me down here. So, you know, it was more easier for the acceptance. But me coming back home, everybody know who I was. They know who Richard Braxton is. They know he went to Eisenhower. He was a football star. He went to college. So it was, you know, but one thing it is, when the word of God flows through me, you can't deny that there is a God somewhere. And so there is a God somewhere. I wasn't the smartest guy. I had, like, growing up, I had issues with reading, you know what I mean? And I'd be amazed, like, God, you really make me sound smart every week. You make me sound like I'm the guy. You know what I mean? But I know where it comes from. You know, it's just. So yeah, I went through that. You know, dealt with challenges of reading and all that stuff, and deal with all that stuff. But yeah, just again, like I've been saying this whole time, I've learned that God He loves me where I'm at, which entails it makes me want to be better.
Right.
Like I want, man, whatever God you want me to do, man, let's run it. Let's go. God tell me to go to Alaska right now. I'm gone. I'm out of here because I know He's gonna provide for me.
Right.
Exactly. I don't know why God keep on bringing this up to me to really get to. It's not out of tradition.
Right.
Tradition brings the trauma. Right. Relationship though, man, it brings exposure in a relationship, and He draws me in. So that's my personal thing. I hope I answered the question.
No, that was amazing. I think we're gonna put that on the shirt.
The tough conversations need to be had when it comes to church. And then he also says, it's much appreciated to hear. Shout out to my pastor for real. And definitely thank you for sharing your walk in life, how you led to where you are right now. Like Quest says, it's really important that a lot of people hear that, because there may be somebody out there who may be feeling or going through exactly what you went through, and to see that there's a way, that there's a light at the end of that tunnel, it just provides hope.
It does, yeah. And we all have a story. We all have a journey.
We all have a story and a journey.
That's it.
Well, Pastor Braxton, I want to thank you for coming on. We appreciate
you guys. Thank you for allowing me to come on.
And you're a resident here, man. Like Matthew was saying, you wanted the homies.
Thank you, man. I'm one of the homies in there, man. Bring me in, man. Put me on the team.
Anytime. You have an open invitation anytime you want, man. It was such a good turnout for the Father's Day edition, you know what I'm saying? And it was so much enlightenment in that. Definitely, we've been trying to do it since then. We're just looking for the perfect opportunity, and this was the perfect one, you know?
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, I love y'all.
Yes. Thank you. Much love. We'll see you Sunday. Real quick. For those that need to know, you can catch Pastor Braxton at 625 North Eucalyptus Avenue, Rialto, California, 92376, Faith Point Ministries. Make sure you check them out.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I would love for y'all to, we got to showcase this for Business Sunday, man. That'd be a great thing. Bring everybody on, share what we do. I mean, this is a Business Sunday, man. This is what we do.
Exactly. I got you. We'll do that.
We got to promote the platform, sir.
I might have to go with you, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Come on, man.
Come on.
Hey, make the drive
All right.
down there, man. And, hey, next time I'm gonna try to take some more time because usually I do kind of like a Friday through Sunday thing, but I told him I gotta try to because every time I come, I run out of time. I run out of people to see. I miss
He's a real
somebody.
popular guy.
I gotta hear about it for the next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or a couple months. So yeah, I mean, when I do plan it out properly, I'm gonna pull up on
Yes,
y'all.
sir. Pull up
You know what
on
I'm
me.
saying?
All right.
Real quick, I gotta show some more love to my pops. You know what I'm
The
saying? Make
Chosen
sure you check out
Project
this book.
is a visionary saga that blends African heritage, biblical allegory, and mythic fantasy into a story of exile, revelation, and destiny. Through Enoch's journey, the series explores the battle, inviting readers into a spiritual odyssey, both timeless and urgently modern. Available on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited. Check out The Chosen Project by AJ.
All right, y'all. Also, too, before we gotta get out of here, I wanted to shout out to everybody. I always check my stats. Dang, we lost Pastor Braxton. Hey, 73,935 units moved for Ready for the World. 18,500 for Eyes Behind Shades. You know, for those projects on the digital streaming platform. So I want to thank everybody who's actually, you know, go and stream the music and that's been showing love. This is units move independently. So I definitely want to thank you and shout out to everybody who definitely shows support and love for that, you know?
Nice.
Absolutely, man.
Congrats, bro.
Scenario, you see this man at church, you could have been asked that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, you. In the comments. You see
Yeah,
that
well, you know what? He does this right when we get ready to go. We gotta
Yeah,
go, bro. We'll two pick that, and we'll come back to it. I want to thank Pastor Braxton for coming through.
Absolutely.
Please pray for my Dodgers. It's not looking good for this game, but thank God we got for tomorrow. Shout out to Method Dex. Shout out to Jess. We love you guys. Make sure you hit the like, share button. Make sure you subscribe and you hit the notification button. We will see you next week. Also, shout out to Edie of the Outlaws. You know, thank you for having me last night, and we will catch you on